Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, good news.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
There's a long white robe in the Zion, I know.
Long white robe in the Zion, I know. There's a long white robe in the Zion, I know. There's a long white robe in the Zion, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know.
Starry crown in the Zion, I know. There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know. There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
There's a golden harp in the Zion, I know.
Golden harp in the Zion, I know. There's a golden harp in the Zion, I know. There's a golden harp in the Zion, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
There's a long white robe in the Zion, I know.
Long white robe in the Zion, I know. There's a long white robe in the Zion, I know. There's a long white robe in the Zion, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know.
Starry crown in the Zion, I know. There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know. There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know.
Starry crown in the Zion, I know. There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know. There's a starry crown in the Zion, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming. behind.
There's a golden harp in the Zion, I know.
Golden harp in the Zion, I know. There's a golden harp in the Zion, I know. There's a golden harp in the Zion, I know. And I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming. And I don't want it to leave me behind.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming.
Good news.
Good news, the chariots are coming, and I don't want it to leave me behind.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Today's sermon is entitled The Refining. The refining is an extremely detailed experience that is carefully crafted specifically for the individual being refined. The refining process is directly connected to the purpose or role that one plays in Yahweh's kingdom. This may be confusing, as your current role may not be your ultimate role. In other words, you may be refined for a purpose that has not been revealed unto you as of yet. The refining process is based upon losing things. As one loses impurities, he or she gains value. Our biggest problem is that we have become attached to the impurities, and our spirit fights the Most High as he begins to take the impurities away. Let's begin today's sermon in Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
The vision of Esaias the son of Amoz, which he saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Yehuda. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
Right. I have nourished and I have brought up children. When you get down to it, I remember my elder reading this and talking about the various individuals that he had taught who knew absolutely nothing before they got there. And then once they learned a little, they decided to rebel against him. It's one of those things that as you begin to be a servant of Yahweh, you're going to have to go through some of the very things that Yahweh has gone through so that you can understand his position and know what it is he expects of you. It's one thing to read about Lucifer betraying Yahweh. It's something altogether different to have a Lucifer in your life. One whom you've helped, one whom you've nurtured, one whom you've taught, and then to have them come against you. Now you don't just see Yahweh's plight. Now you feel it. Go ahead.
The ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel does not know, my people does not consider.
And consider now, he's doing this and speaking this about a nation of people that he grew out of nothing. Go ahead.
Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with lawlessness, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yahweh. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They're gone away backward. Why should you be stricken anymore?
Now, this shows the long suffering of Yahweh. Why should you be stricken anymore? In other words, he has tried to discipline Israel. See, our problem is we see something when it first happens, or we see the end of a thing. We don't know that that thing been going on for 5 years. We just saw it that day. When Yahweh decides, you know what? Why should I even whoop you anymore? You don't listen. See, you try various ways to discipline a child. You try various ways to get that child to walk in a certain way. But then there becomes a point where Yahweh has even put it in his law that if a mother and father come up and said, this our son is a rebellious child. He's a glutton and a wine bibber. He won't listen. The whole community is to stone that individual. But that was brought up by the mother and the father. That means they have tried to discipline this individual. They have tried to help this individual. This child or this person will not be helped. They will not be corrected. They will not be reproved. They will not be admonished. They will not correct their ways. At that point, something has to be done that's totally above everything else that has been done. Why should you be stricken anymore? He says, you will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. At that point, he stopped whooping. He's not whooping anymore. Go ahead.
You know, my brother, when you look at this whole situation, we've got children. You remember the day when you realized that whoopings ain't working for him no more?
Mm-hmm.
It's heartbreaking at that point because you got love and you're trying to get this person to understand the perspective of where you're coming from, but you've also got to come to the realization that there's nothing I can do.
Right. You have to do exactly what it says in this book. Cast them out to Satan so that they learn not to blaspheme. Let them feel that cold air outside. Let that cold air hit them. Let them go ahead and deal with that. And then maybe at that point, they'll be able to say, you know what? When they were trying to tell me to do such and such, I probably should have listened. But it ain't but so much you can keep saying before you got to let the cold air hit them. Then they'll realize, my folk kept telling me to get that jacket. They kept telling me to get that jacket. And then you keep getting the jacket for them. And then one day you got to go ahead and no, I'm tired of telling them the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and let them leave the jacket. And then we're going to stand outside for a while. Then they're trying to rush you in. Come on, let's go in the building. No, we're going to sit out here and we're going to talk for a little minute. No, come on, let's go in. No. We're going to sit out here and let's talk. Let's just examine it. Don't you see how beautiful God's trees are? Let's just look at God's trees. Look at that. Look at the beautiful birds. Look, I want to go inside now. No. See, I'm tired of telling you that you should have brought that jacket. See, I done had this conversation too many times. Now we're going to stand out here in the cold and we're just going to examine these trees. Maybe the next time you're going to learn to do what the hell I told you to do. That's what Yahweh do, huh? Yep. See, I'm tired of telling you the same thing. See, now we're just going to stand out here for a little while. Go ahead.
Esaias chapter 1 and verse 5. Why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more.
Right. All you're going to do is back talk. Chewing on rocks. Go ahead.
The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint.
How did we get to that point? See? How did the whole head get sick? See, this is when something has to be done. And you have to recognize that this is something that Yahweh has to do to Israel. But this is also something that Israel going to have to do to Israel. Have you recognized the situations that you are amongst and the whole head is sick, but you still keep trying to deal with it? You still keep hoping that it come around? You still keep hoping that it's going to be a better situation? Right. You ain't reading your book. Go ahead.
From the sole of the foot even onto the head, there's no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment.
My elder used to say, when somebody show you who they are, believe them. Go ahead.
Your country is desolate. Your cities are burnt with fire. Your land, strangers devoured in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except Yahweh of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
So you start to find this process that Yahweh deals with over and over, the very small remnant. Yahweh doesn't deal with the people en masse. He deals with the remnant. And that's what gets us, and we don't really understand what's going on. He's going to build from a remnant. He's not going to build from the masses of people, because that just a little bit of problem in this generation turns into a humongous, uncontrollable problem in another generation. So he'd rather start with a remnant who is going to follow instruction. That is a foundation that you can build on. But if you already have problems before the foundation is set, you're going to have a whole lot of problems come next generation. Go ahead.
Hear the word of Yahweh, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our Elohim, you people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Says Yahweh. I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he-goats.
You have to what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices? What? Did you tell us to offer sacrifices? Yeah, but to what purpose? Why do you do yours? I mean, you're not going to do anything else, so why are you even doing sacrifice? So that means the sacrifices that our people were doing at that time were not for Yahweh. It was to make themselves feel good. So that we can sleep good at night. Well, at least I did such and such. I did shoot him, but I caught an amalam. At least I caught an amalam, That's so we can sleep at night. That's not for Yahweh, that's for us. Go ahead.
When you come to appear before me, who has required this at your hand, to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations, Incense is an abomination unto me.
All the stuff that you do with your heart not being right is an abomination. This is why it says, when you come to bring your gift to the altar, leave your gift there. Go fix your situation with your brother, then come and offer your gift. But then you get to finding out that people have had things against individuals for 4 or 5 years and still approach unto the altar like ain't nothing happened. Go ahead.
The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is lawlessness, even the solemn meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hates.
The things that he has told us to do, he hates them because of our heart while doing them. Go ahead.
They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yes, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood.
Here's the thing. That's spiritual blood. See, a talebearer, hands is full of blood. A person that spreads false doctrine, hands full of blood. But you look at your hands, you don't see no blood. It's the wounding of somebody else's spirit that has that blood on their hands. Go ahead.
Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Come now, and let us reason together, says Yahweh. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow.
Now, when he says, wash you, make you clean, understand how you're going to wash you and make you clean. Not with soap and water. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. That's how you wash you and make you clean. Stop doing what you're doing. But if you won't be reproved, if you won't be corrected, you know, people give those cute little sayings, you know, if I'm ever off, just let me know. Just let me know. I need a friend, child. And then as soon as you call them, doo-doo-doo, the number you have reached. Right. That's what they say until you actually do it. Hey, Cephas told Yahshua, hey, he would ride or die. Till it came, and he would more ride than die. Go ahead.
You know, when you look at verse 17, it says, learn to do well, seek judgment. But that's the whole thing. Can you humble yourself to go to somebody to learn to do well? And our biggest problem is we want to run from judgment. Why are you judging me? It says seek judgment. That means I can tell you of your wrongdoings and your wrong ways.
Not just that. What it says right after that. Relieve the oppressed. So when you allow something to keep going on, you haven't relieved the oppressed. They are continually being oppressed, but you don't want to get into it. You know. I want to just stay neutral, you know. Right. So you let them people stay oppressed then. And you believe that your hands are not full of blood. You fooling yourself. Go ahead.
Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it. How is the faithful city become an harlot? It was full of judgment, righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers. Your silver has become dross, your wine mixed with water.
Right. Now, your doctrine has impurities in it. Your doctrine is becoming watered down. Now there's problems. Because you didn't deal with these things, now that problem is flowing downhill. And it ain't just staying at that one place. Those problems are spreading about and going unto other individuals. Thank you, brother. Go ahead.
Verse 23. Your princes are rebellious and companions of thieves.
Stop. Companions of thieves. See,
We say, I didn't steal it, but I hang out with the people that stole it.
y'all always say, yeah, I'm killing you too.
No, I didn't steal from the sanctuary. My best friend did.
but we're going to the mall later. Right. You might have well helped him still. You should have been the lookout. You should have helped him, lifted him up so he can climb in the window. Hey, getting you too. Go ahead.
You know, it says your princes. These are leadership. This is people in position.
Uh-huh.
Everyone loves gifts and follows after rewards.
And sometimes the gift that we receive is the gift of acceptance, the gift of friendship. If you let me hang with your group, I'll agree to this. Go ahead.
They judge not the fatherless, neither does the cause of the widow come unto them. Therefore says the Adonai Yahweh of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies.
Now hold on. You gotta wrap your head around this. That at the point that Israel becomes obstinate, do you realize that you are Yahweh's enemy? I don't care nothing about your kufi and your cultural clothing. At the point that you become obstinate and can't nobody do anything to correct you or reprove you, you do realize that you have become his enemy, right? See, we like to read, the enemies, them people over there. Yeah. See, them people in Europe, those his enemies. Yeah, them. No, he got enemies right here. He got enemies that are called by his name. Because they're not going to do nothing he said do. They will follow the word as long as it is convenient unto them. As soon as it begins to cause them an issue, they out. Go ahead.
And I'll turn my hand upon you and purely purge away your dross and take away all your tin.
Right. Are you prepared for Yahweh to remove those impurities? Or have you grown accustomed to the impurities and you fight Yahweh as he attempts to take them away? Go ahead.
I will restore your judges as at the first, and your counselors as at the beginning. Afterward, you shall be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city.
Right. In other words, when Yahweh looks, if you look and listen to the things that are being said, he's actually coming upon us because we won't do righteous judgment. People try to come to you and say you have a problem. They say, oh, you judging me about everything that you try to correct them about. Look at what, if you think about it, you realize that the people are taking an opposing view of Yahweh. Yahweh is judging us because we won't do judgment. The unrighteous individuals have a problem with you when you do righteous judgment. So if you have an opposing view with Yahweh, are you not his enemy? How can you not be his enemy? He's on the right side and you on the left. How can he not be an enemy unto you? And how can you not be an enemy unto him? Go ahead.
Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake Yahweh shall be consumed. For they shall be ashamed of the oaks which you have desired, and you shall be confounded for the gardens that you have chosen. For you shall be as an oak whose leaf fades, and as a garden that has no water. And the strong shall be as tow, and the maker of it as a spark. And they shall both burn together, and none shall quench them.
None shall put the fire out. Verse 29, for they shall be ashamed of the oaks which you have desired. You shall be confounded for the gardens that you have chosen. Yeah, I didn't give you this. You chose that. Don't say I deceived you. I didn't deceive you. You made that decision. You're going to be ashamed of the decisions that you have made. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 22. See, that's why it says in that kingdom, people gonna be able to walk right up and see Lucifer in that pit. Is this the man that did bring down kingdoms? So with that being said, who we gonna blame on our sin then?
Lucifer, he deceived me, Yahweh. He was so slick. He was cunning. He was crafty.
Now he in that hole right there. Come here. Look right there. There you go. How you get out of that hole and deceive you? No, you deceive you. See, he gonna take away that excuse. Ezekiel chapter 22, and let's start that at verse 1.
Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Now, you son of man, will you judge? Will you judge the bloody city? Yes, you shall show her all her abominations. Then say you, Thus says the Adonai Yah, the city sheds blood in the midst of it, that her time may come, and makes idols against herself to defile herself.
Right. It's not a situation where we're always going to be without sin. We know that we are sinful individuals. That's not the issue. The issue is about, do we repent? Do we try to get back on the path? Verse 3. Then say you, thus says the Adonai Elohim, this city sheds blood in the midst of it. Verse 2. Now you son of man, will you judge? Will you judge the bloody city? Look at Yahweh's position and then examine our own. Yahweh is raising up prophets to go and say these things in hope that Israel will turn from her ways. So when we decide we're not going to say it because, that's my friend, and I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Who else you helping to get hurt? Go ahead.
You are become guilty in your blood that you have shed, and have defiled yourself in your idols which you have made. And you have caused your days to draw near, and are come even unto your years. Therefore have I made you a reproach unto the heathen, and a mocking to all countries.
Right. I have made you a reproach unto all the heathen. Have y'all started seeing the Black History commercials? Y'all notice one of them, every black man in it gay? Man, these folks mocking us. Every black man in the commercial gay.
Yes, well, it's Black History.
The hell is that? Then I see one. Damn. Then there's a second one. Damn. Then there's a third one. Every man on the commercial was gay. That's subliminal programming unto our children. Because if that's your history, what the hell is your future? Read, bro.
Those that be near and those that be far from you shall mock you, which are infamous and much vexed.
Mm-hmm. Right at, look, bad enough, that was the Black History commercial. Then right after that, the Devato commercial come on for HIV. And who is that? A black dude with dreads. And he got his dreads lined up like a crown. It go up, it about high as oozes. It go up into the ceiling. And I mean, he just a twitching.
Devato for HIV.
What the hell? And he's back to back. Go ahead, bro.
Behold, the princes of Israel, everyone were in you to their power to shed blood. In you have they set light by father and mother. In the midst of you have they dealt by oppression with the stranger. In you have they vexed the fatherless and the widow.
Mm-hmm.
You have despised mine holy things and have profaned my Shabbats.
Right. In you, they have done all these things and you ain't done nothing about it. So when we begin to say things in prayers about everybody stepping up and doing their part, sometimes people think, that's Esau's position. See, that's what people say, especially when they don't want to do it. That's Esau's, word. Wait a minute. Let's read what Yahweh got to say. His judgment is coming down upon us because we won't do it. And guess what? That judgment ain't just coming down on certain individuals. He getting the whole nation. So run go tell him.
Well, that wasn't my job, Yahweh. That's why I didn't do it. I mean, yes, I seen the person, climbing out of that window, but that wasn't my job. Yes, I seen them steal from the sanctuary. I seen them put the menorah right in their bag. But I wasn't on security.
Go ahead.
Even when it comes to the witnesses, it says the witnesses will be the first to throw the stone, right? But
that's why we don't want to do nothing. See? Because how can you have that fake situation of peace? How can you have that fake middle of the road thing if you're going to be a witness and the witness got to throw the first stone? So because we scared of throwing the first stone, we don't want to testify. So then situations come up and we act like ain't nothing happened. Right. So when the next group of people get hurt, make sure you go and clean that blood out under all your fingernails. Because you provided the opportunity for them to get bloody. You provided that opportunity because you wouldn't testify. Go ahead.
in you are men that carry tales to shed blood. And in you, they eat upon the mountains. In the midst of you, they commit lewdness.
Right. When they carried them tales to you, why you didn't stop the tales? Why you didn't bring them up to the front?
You know, that's a good story. That sounds good. Let's go tell Sop.
I guarantee you the tales would have stopped that day. Why you think they pulled you to the side? Why you think they called you at night? Why you think they sent you a text message when wasn't nobody else around? No. You said, man, that's a good story. That sounds really interesting. So come on here and listen to this. Go ahead, say it again. No. Tell him the same stuff you were telling me. Gotta stop it right there in its tracks. Go ahead.
In you have they discovered their father's nakedness. In you have they humbled her that was set apart for pollution. And one has committed abomination with his neighbor's wife, and another has lewdly defiled his daughter-in-law, and another in you has humbled his sister, his father's daughter.
And we say, well, you know what, that ain't I stay out of grown folk business, child. I ain't gonna get into it.
Go ahead.
In you have they taken gifts to shed blood. You have taken interest and increase, and you have greedily gained of your neighbors by extortion, and have forgotten me, says the Adonai Yah.
Check this out. He equates that with the forgetting of him. Because had you remembered me, all this situation wouldn't have been going on around you. Had you remembered me, you would have stopped all of that. Had you remembered me, when this stuff happened in your presence, you would have put a stop to it instead of saying, well, I'm not a leader of the congregation, so, I didn't say nothing. Right. And then we go home and sleep like a baby, feeling justified. That's a false justification. Go ahead.
Behold, therefore I have smitten mine hand at your dishonest gain which you have made, and at your blood which you have been in the midst of. Can your heart endure, or can your hands be strong in the days that I shall deal with you? I, Yahweh, have spoken it, and will do it. And I'll scatter you among the heathen, and disperse you in the countries, and I'll consume your filthiness out of you.
Right. I will spread you out amongst the countries. So even our judgment shows how that these people who claim to be Israel can't possibly be. How y'all come out of one place? So my God lied? And if so, he told that lie over and over, because he keeps saying that. I'm going to spread you out throughout the country. I'm going to spread you out throughout the country. He told us that in the beginning. Then at the end, he said, I'm going to go to all these countries and start gathering you up. Well, if all of them came out of one place, who are all these people he gathering from all these other countries? Go ahead.
Verse 16, and you shall take your inheritance in yourself in the sight of the heathen, and you shall know that I am Yahweh.
Check this out. And you shall take your inheritance in yourself in the sight of the heathen. Your inheritance that Yahweh has given you is that land. He's going to give you your inheritance in front of the heathen. So they done spent all this time pretending to be you. He gonna give you your inheritance. Why they looking?
Hold on, no, let them look. Here you go. There you go.
See, ain't no question who the real heir when you start passing out them deeds.
There you go. This is yours. Lot A216. That's yours right there.
And then you start passing them out, and they realize,
ain't none of us getting none.
right. I'm going to give you your inheritance in front of the heathen. And then they going to know. That's Yahweh's people. Go ahead.
You know, even to the token of taking your inheritance in yourself, we first have to accept that we are this.
Oh, now you dealing with therapy 101. Nah, brother. Hold on, brother. Hold on. See, we want to skip 101 and get right to 202 and 303. See, we want to deal with the issues without.
Now, look, I don't want to really have to deal with myself and who I am. But that damn Kish be causing me some problem.
Wait a minute. Before we deal with the problems that Kish causing you, how about let's deal with you and the problem that you causing you?
No, I don't want to deal with that. I want to deal with him.
Right. And then we'll come up right out of the therapist's office.
This therapy don't damn work.
Right. It didn't work because you didn't deal with you. You tried to skip over the part that got something to deal with you, and you want to deal with everybody else. Deal with your part. How you gonna come fix this house? I'm gonna come clean your house. Your house so nasty, you track dirt in my house. How about clean your nasty house first? Then you can help me clean mine. Talking about you gonna clean my house, mud all over your shoe. Come on, man, I came over here to help you clean. No, hell you did. Somebody hose him down. Turn the water hose on. You're not coming in here. Go ahead, bro.
And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin, and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even the dross of silver. Therefore, thus says the Adonai Yah, because you are all become dross, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem. As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I'll leave you there and melt you.
See, now we're dealing with something else. See, when you first put something in the fire, there's a certain amount of time that it goes in the fire to burn off the impurities, to get those impurities out. But when it decides that it is going to be rebellious, now he put it in the fire and he just leave it there. Oh, no, it won't be left in the fire, okay? Well, you're going to have to go through the fire. What he says, when you go through the fire, I'm going to be with you. But you're not supposed to like go through the fire and just stay in the fire. You know, you're supposed to go through the fire, okay? You don't just get in the fire and just, oh my goodness. Ooh, yes, I'm just going to bask in this. Ooh, that's blue flame right there. That one hot. No, that's not how that's supposed to work. Go ahead, brother. Did you have something?
No, I just want to ask, dross. Is that like dung or something? What is it?
You getting impurities, man. You got things that ain't supposed to be there. You supposed to shine, bro. You know what they do when they get ready to sell a nice black figure like you? They they shine you up, right? They get that. You wonder why we use so much damn Vaseline. You know what I'm saying? When they got ready to say, hey, boy, when they got ready to sell us, they put. That's how you make a brother look profitable. To this day, it's the same thing. Brother put on a nice bit of Vaseline.
Oh, look at it.
The last thing you want is some old crunchy black. We eat crunchy black. Ain't nobody gonna buy that. So we want to oil it up. Hey man, you're supposed to be a precious metal. When you get ready to go in the store, if you look at one of them shining, the other one dull, man, you ain't buying that dull one. You say, man, what's wrong with that one?
Well, this one is $29.99.
Well, how much is that one?
It's $4.99.99.
Oh, I see what's going on here. There's something wrong with that one. See? But you can get the $29.99. But you eventually notice the $29.99 don't look like $499.99. You understand? So what you gonna be? You gonna be $29.99? All right. Go ahead.
Yes, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my anger, and you shall be melted in the midst thereof. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall you be melted in the midst thereof. And you shall know that I, Yahweh, have poured out my fury upon you. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto her, You art the land that is not cleansed, nor rained upon in the day of indignation. There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned my holy things.
That's what they want. They want quiet priests.
So don't speak to us right things. Speak to us smooth things.
That's how you get rich and profitable here. Go ahead.
They have put no difference between the holy and profane.
Right. But see, that's how you cause issues. When you put difference in between the holy and profane. When you separate some things, this is what people call,
you causing division. You causing division.
Oh, you like things to go together? I'll tell you what. Why don't you put your bathroom and your kitchen together?
Oh, I'm sorry, you don't want to do that. Oh, that's nasty.
Well, that's what happened if I don't separate the wicked and the righteous. Then you eat right next to the bathroom. Matter of fact, don't even put no door on it. Just put it right there in the middle. Just have the refrigerator and put the bathroom right there. So you making the eggs, you be like, oh my God, you stink. Yeah, see how that work out for you. Right. Go ahead, brother.
Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Shabbats, and I am profaned among them.
We forget. The bathroom used to be called an outhouse. It wasn't even in the house. Mm-hmm. It was out there. You went out there to go to the bathroom. And you wonder why we okay with allowing things to mingle together. Hey man, we had to have good plumbing before they figured out,
we can put the bathroom in the inside.
What? You can? How you gonna do that?
So you're gonna run a pipe, and then the pipe gonna go outside.
What? You mean I can use the bathroom with all them bugs getting on me? Because, people got an outhouse, and they had to use the bathroom at night. A lot of people just...
They're just like, you know what? I'm gonna hold it to the morning.
I ain't going out there at midnight. You're not going out there. Or you be like Uzi and be making that Remember her in the campsite? She hollering at somebody's tent. Stop! Stop! You think it's a strange bird out there? You be like, it's midnight. What the hell kind of bird is out here at midnight? Cause she gotta go to the bathroom. She don't wanna go by herself, cause it's dark. I said, stop! What the hell going on out here? Never mind, I'll hold it till the morning. Right. Read, bro.
Verse 27. Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. And her prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar.
If her prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar, then they're trying to make something seem solid when it really is not. If you daubing them with untempered mortar, you filling in the holes, making it look perfect. When you look at these walls, they look really good. What you don't know is it was holes all over that wall, and he had to put spackle over it. Then he sanded it down so that it got even, Then he painted it. So when you look at it when it's done, it looked like one piece of wall. But it's lines in every bit of that. Because he had to have places where he screwed those into the wood. So they got joining points. Every 16 inches is another a point where he got to put screws. Well, then he got to cover all that. But when you cover it, it looked like one complete cohesive unit. That's just how it looked. That's not what it is up under there. Go ahead.
Seeing vanity and divining lies onto them, saying, Thus says the Adonai Yah, when Yahweh has not spoken. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and needy. Yes, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge.
And I sought for a man among them. I'm looking. Who gonna go take care of this business?
Well, not me, Yahweh. I was busy. I had some other stuff to do, and plus it wasn't my job.
Go ahead.
And stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it. But I found none. Therefore have I poured out mine indignation upon them.
Therefore have I poured out mine indignation. Remember now, it was Moshe that stood in the breach to keep us from getting destroyed the first time. But you don't find nobody out having no pep rallies about that. But you find these Israelite pep rallies, these little gatherings we want to have, but ain't nobody talking about, y'all remember we almost got killed off? That part don't come up at the shindig. Y'all remember we were so disobedient, Yahweh finna kill us all and make 12 tribes of Moses? Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Why that don't come up? That's because we done invited all the disobedient to be there. And the last thing we want to talk about is disobedience when that's who all on our attendance list. Go ahead.
I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. Their own way have I recompensed upon their heads, says the Adonai Yah.
Says the Adonai Elohim. Let's go to Zechariah. Zechariah. Chapter 13.
Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 1. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land.
Okay, are the names of the idols still in the land? So then we know that this is a future prophecy, correct? All right, go ahead.
And they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirits to pass out of the land. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begot him shall say unto him, You shall not live, for you speak lies in the name of Yahweh.
Right. See, then people gonna be make sure they very, very careful before they let something come out of their mouth, because you prophesy during that point and you prophet die. Oh, that's going to take care of that business. Somebody say something wrong, boom, they hit the floor.
You be like, you know what? Note to self, I'm not doing that. I might do something else,
but I'm not going to do whatever that is. Whatever made them get carried out of here and put in that bag. I'm not doing that. So that's how you deter Israel right there. Once somebody get carried away in the bag, the first question we want to ask, what happened to them? See, it's a little bit of nosing this and that, but it's also a little bit of self-preservation as well, because we want to make sure we don't do that. Go ahead.
And his father and his mother that begot him shall thrust him through when he prophesies. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed every one of his vision, when he has prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. But he shall say, I am no prophet, I am an husbandman, for man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in your hands?
Who is he talking about?
Yeshua.
Yeshua. He got nailed to the stake. What are these wounds in your hands? The prophecy is already there. So here's the thing you got to consider. Sometimes people are doing some things and they think that it is of their own thought process, but it's really the demon who is leading them. They believe that the words that are proceeding out of their mouth are their own thoughts, but it's the demon who's talking through them. So it is in the prophecy about the wounds in his hands. When the Gentiles get ready to punish him, they think, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and we're gonna nail his hand, and we're gonna cast lots upon his vesture. We're gonna do. They don't know they fulfilling prophecy. They think it's their idea. Go ahead.
Then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends.
Wounded in the house of my friends. Go ahead.
Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, says Yahweh of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered.
Ain't that what happened with Yahshua? When the shepherd was smitten, the sheep was scattered. But that had a purpose. When they were scattered, it took that word to all these other places where the word was not. So even though the evil do what they do, Yahweh turns around and use what the evil does as a benefit unto the righteous. Yahweh let somebody come and run you out of a job. You all mad because you done lost the job. 3 months later, you hear that the building collapsed and everybody but the doorman in the building dead. Now you realize, that was Yahweh running me out of there. But see, you didn't like the way he ran you out of there. See, your pride was like, they were disrespecting me, Yeah, well, how disrespected you feel knowing that all them people in the ground? Go ahead.
And I'll turn mine hand upon the little ones. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, says Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein.
All right. So Yahweh is already saying the majority of Israel gonna die in this one. That's over half. So the blessing, we keep running from any amount of fire that we get here. Understand, your blessing is to get to the fire. The fire that's going to refine you. Everybody gonna get to go to the fire. Pay attention. Read that again.
And it shall come to pass that in all the land, says Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein.
All right, now what are you gonna do with the third? Go ahead.
And I'll bring the third part through the fire.
You understand something? Everybody not going through the fire. Why? They gonna die before the fire even lit. This is not the fire of punishment. This is the fire of impurity. Remember now, when you call upon Yahweh, when Yahweh got to speak to them, what were all the elements that we saw? All fire is not for punishment. Only if you stay in it. Go ahead.
And will refine them as silver is refined.
Will refine them as silver is refined. The wicked don't get refined. The wicked get cut off and die before the refining process begins. So he got to get rid of them. He's got to go ahead and gather them together for whatever they being gathered for. Go ahead.
And will try them as gold is tried.
Trying them as gold is tried. Go ahead.
They shall call on my name and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, Yahweh is my Elohim.
They will say that after they have been refined. See, the refining does that. Some of the very people that you may be talking to about the word right now,
And they telling you in a cult.
them the very people who gonna admit and may end up being refined at a later date. That's not your call when the refining happens. Go ahead, brother.
Sorry, man. I know this in Bible study, but for some reason, I just gotta ask this question, man. Back like in verse 3 and 4, when it was talking about when the prophets, when they're gonna be prophesying, is this like in the time when Yeshua gonna be ruling, or what?
Yeah, right. When he talking about what are these wounds in your hand? You talking about a prophet? Think about what it said about Moshe, and then Moshe referred unto Yahshua. He says, "One like unto me shall come unto you," and then a greater than Moshe came to them, one who knew Elohim face to face. So Moshe had a level of that. Moshe was greater than a prophet. Remember, a prophet received their things in dreams and visions. Yahweh spoke to Moshe. He didn't have to go dream. He didn't have to eat chocolate before he went to sleep.
You know what? Oh my God, you ain't I had this dream last night.
No, Moshe didn't have to have that. He was wide awake. And Yahweh, he like, oh my God. So then to have something greater than that, how you gonna prophesy and he here? Think about it. When he said, they said, Adonai, why do the Pharisees and the scribes, and their people, they fast, but your disciples don't fast? He said, how they gonna fast while I'm here? How you gonna prophesy when the ultimate prophet is walking around? I wish you would. You're gonna die before you finish prophesying. When you see people that bold, you just look for a big rock.
I'm gonna be behind this rock.
And then this us right here. Wow, he dealt with him. That's it.
Wow. So, my bad, man. So this kind of go when I don't know where you say when they say a child gonna die like be 100 in the kingdom, whatever.
When it says a child shall die at 100, it's dealing with the longevity, because that's 1,000-year reign of the Messiah. Why did you die at 100? We're supposed to have longevity again at that time. See, Yahweh cut off man's living time. So then that would be given back to us. So if you die at 100, today if you die at 100,
They'd be like, oh my God, you lived a long life.
Mm-hmm.
You die at 100 when Yahshua get here, he'll be like, damn, he was just a kid. 100? He was a kid? Yeah, he should have lived 1,000 years. Why he died at 100? Something didn't go right there. You think about it, man, you got 100-year-old dudes on the basketball court. Out there dancing like kids. Who did that to you? I did it to you. It's a 100-year-old dude that just dunked. Hey, bro, that's some serious business right there. Go ahead.
My brother, you're looking at that, just that. There's so much more to even all that. You got to think about, he's in the kingdom. You gonna walk up, hey, Yahshua, I had a vision last night. It also said there'll be no need for any light. There'll be no need for any light. He's there.
You know somebody gonna do it, though, right? That's one thing you can count on Israel for. Some mess. You can count on us. You can count on us. You go ahead and put your money on there. Somebody gonna do it. Somebody gonna do it. You can go ahead and count on Israel, bro. Sometimes you just gotta find you a good rock and get you some popcorn and just wait. It's bound to happen. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I'm telling you, I know my people. Somebody about to come in here and prophesy. I know it. I know it. Somebody finna go and insult the high priest. Oh, I'm just finna sit here and wait, because I want to see that fireball come out the sky and just consume one individual. I gotta see it. It's been a while since I've seen a good movie. it's just Israel, man. It's just no matter what you give us, no matter what you show us, no matter how lenient you are to us, it's never enough. It's like winning the lottery and going home to your family. You do realize that no matter what you give them, it ain't never gonna be enough.
Well, you won 20 million. There's 20 of us in here. I should get at least $1 million.
Man, if you don't get the hell out of in front of me. Then after they blow that million,
Look, I know it was fair with the $1 million, but I spent that. You think you can let me hold about $300,000-400,000? I need to get my grass cut.
for $400,000, you need to get your grass. If you don't get, you're gonna get something else cut. You don't get the hell out in front of me. It will never be enough. Go ahead, bro.
That was the end of Zechariah.
That was into that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13. And let's read verses 24 through 30.
Verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemies came and sowed tares among the wheat.
They came and planted weeds among the good fruit, among the good produce. Go ahead.
And went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, did not you sow good seed in your field? From whence then has it tares? He said unto them, An enemy has done this. The servants said unto him, Will you then that we go and gather them up? But he said, No, lest while you gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest.
So there's a certain amount of time that the wheat and the tares have to grow together, because they have attached themselves to the wheat. And if you try to separate them before they are fully grown, you end up ripping out some good product. Go ahead.
And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, Gather you together first the tares.
Gather you together first the tares. See, they gather together in their cliques. They don't understand that they're gathered together to be burned. Go ahead.
And bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.
Right. So then there's two different gatherings. There's the gathering of the wicked to be burned, and there's the gathering of the righteous to be placed in his barn. The tares attach themselves to the wheat in an attempt to pass as profitable fruit. They must be separated and placed into the correct groups in order for righteous judgment to be placed upon them. If the tares are allowed to remain among the wheat then get punished with the weeds. In order to make a tare feel justified in their separation, the Most High allows them to believe that they are right in their erroneous ideals, while believing that everyone else has the wrong perspective. Their pride then blinds their eyes as they are gathered together with other tares, unbeknownst to them. Let's go to Matthew chapter 25. Go ahead, bro.
You just want to touch on the gathering?
The gathering.
We need to pay attention to the gathering.
Right. You know,
But people say, that's Suck make me feel so bad when you be talking about the gatherings, because I know I went to them.
Are you in the barn?
Hey, but you ain't there with the rest of them, did you? All right, then.
No, sir.
All right. Okay.
There's two gatherings. Just be mindful of which one you're in.
Which gathering you in? See? You have to realize when you done got to the wrong gathering and fix that.
Yes, sir.
You know what? I done got to the wrong gathering. All these people look like they're abiding for the fire.
You know what I mean?
This ain't the gathering I'm supposed to be with. I ain't supposed to be at this one.
Matthew chapter 25, let's read verses 1 through 13.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Now, oil is symbolic of the Spirit. So on the outward view, all these virgins look the same. Okay? Go ahead.
But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom comes. Go you out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
Okay, so now, here it is. Yahshua is creating a situation that separates the virgins into two groups. Okay? There are two gatherings. Okay? Now, the foolish attempt to get oil or spirit from the wise. So they want to siphon off the spirit from those who are approved to go to the right gathering. But the wrong gathering individuals want to pull your spirit out of you, thereby making you just like them. Because that means y'all going to run out of oil. Because you gave them yours. So when you run out of oil, guess what gathering you got to go to? See, there's an oil gathering and there's a no oil gathering. And if you let somebody borrow your oil and then you run out, guess what gathering you got to go to? You're forced to go to their gathering. I mean, they were already going to go there anyway. But you had a choice. You chose to give up your oil. You forced you into the other gathering. They had no choice but to go to the other gathering because they never had any oil at all. But they were able to pose as wheat in the daytime. They were able to pretend to be wheat in the daytime. So then what Yahshua does is he purposely waits into the dark of night, in the darkest of night, so that he can prove that these foolish virgins are not the same as the wise ones. Do you see it when Yahweh does it here? He purposely allows it to get dark so he can prove to you who has no oil. Everybody looks the same in the daytime. Everybody look like they got, all you gotta do is hold a lamp. You walk around with a flashlight. Nobody knows that the flashlight don't work till it get dark. So you can walk around with the flashlight in the daytime. Yeah, that's right. Everybody got the flashlight? Yep, got it. I got it, boss. Then it get dark. And say, all right, James, turn your flashlight on. Huh? That's your first, see, you know, that's all our first answer when we ain't got no batteries. Huh? Shine your light over here. I'm trying to see something. You mean this light? Yeah, man, that light. Huh? You ain't got no damn batteries, do you? But it was daytime and I didn't think nobody would notice. Right. Right. So Yahshua specifically orchestrates situations so he can prove who has what. He could have went. He said he tarried. He purposely waited. So that means in the waiting period, guess what happens? We have grown fond of some of the impurities. I mean the friends. I mean the other people we might have went to church with. I mean whatever. Okay, so we've grown fond of the people with no oil. And now we are almost there to where we may allow somebody to talk us out of our oil. Go ahead.
Verse 9. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go you rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves.
You see, at some point the wise have to stand up. No, I ain't giving you my all. What happens if I run out? you doing while we were gathering oil? Because you gather that oil in little bitty increments here, a little there, a little here, there, in my various works. I got a little bit of oil here, I got a little bit of oil there, and then that oil accumulated. What were you doing while we were gathering oil? Right. You was out partying and BSing. But now it's time. Now it's dark. Now you want my oil. And if you allow them, because you've gotten accustomed to them, because the bridegroom is tarried. Let's say the bridegroom tarried 20 years. 20 years you done got accustomed to some tares. And you done call those impurities friends. So now you almost willing to give up your oil to help a person who never was going to have oil. They had hole in the bottom of their lamp. Every time they put oil in it, it went right out the bottom. It don't matter what they gathered, they were never going to have it. They were destined for that spot. And all the oil you give to them, going to go right in the top and right out the bottom. You're not going to help them or yourself. Go ahead.
You know, my brother, when you look at this verse 9, this is when you got to understand legal selfishness is allowed.
Uh-huh.
No, you can't have any of my oil. I don't care what you think, feel, or believe, or what you got to say about me.
Uh-huh.
No.
Are you not your brother's keeper?
No.
Your brother's in need. I need it.
No.
Come on, kid.
No.
You ain't got no heart.
No.
Hey, what happened if you need that oil for one of your kids and you done gave it out to somebody who was hanging out at shindigs so they didn't gather up no oil? And now you done lost oil. And see, this is when you're going to realize it. When you got enough oil to let 3 family members go through the gate. But you got 4 family members in your house. Oh, that oil you gave away, now it means something. See, it don't mean that when you ain't thinking about nobody but yourself. But when you realize that you gotta have enough oil to get everybody in your house past that gate, now that oil you gave away, it is highly valuable. Go ahead.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins.
Afterwards, see, here come the second gathering. So here go the second gathering. Now the second gathering done showed up. Go ahead.
Saying, Adonai, Adonai, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily, say I unto you, I know you not.
I don't know you. Check it out. And he orchestrated the situation to prove that he didn't know them. Go ahead.
Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes.
And the last thing you want to do is to be caught without any oil. Yahshua don't send his itinerary.
You know, I'm gonna go down to Atlanta at 5:15. I'm gonna swing by Sox. I'm gonna see what's going on there, and then I'm gonna leave there. I'm gonna go up to St. Louis. I got another brother I'm gonna see up there, and then I'm gonna come back down.
He ain't telling us when he coming. Cause he know his people. He know we gonna fake busy. See, we expecting Yahshua said, I'm coming at 12:15. At 12:13, we're gonna be the workingest individuals you ever seen in your life. Cause we faking. We faking. But see, when he come at a time when you think not, that's how he know who really working. He show up at the things that other people won't show up for. See, there's individuals that I say, you know, hey, I'm gonna let somebody teach behind the altar. Or there'll be a whole line of people. Start talking about, hey man, we need somebody to help clean up the camp.
You got to be more mindful of our time.
Oh, but you'd be okay with doing, you know, the showboat stuff. What about this other stuff? You wanna do that? See, that's how Yahshua gonna come. No. He gonna come at a time when you think not. He gonna come in an area when you think, y'all,
This ain't really that important.
Then everybody show up on the Sabbath and be like, hey man, how all y'all get these gold bracelets? Oh, Yeshua came and passed them out at new moon. I didn't think new moon was important. Right. He coming at a time when you think not. No, I go on the Sabbath, everybody gonna be there. Let me go at a time when they think not. Go ahead, brother.
You know, just to touch on when you were talking about having enough oil for you and your family, that just brought up a new perspective because we don't think about that portion. We just looking at each virgin having oil sufficient for themselves.
Right.
When you think about the situation with Noah, Noah was found righteous. It didn't say nothing about his sons and their wives or even his wife.
Exactly.
And at some point, when the floods came and the ship was going, we know people was at the door, but what Noah had to say, no.
No. Not gonna be able to do it. Can you do it? Not gonna be able to do it. No. But are you strong enough to make that decision? See? Or has somebody talked your heart into being mush meat? Go ahead.
That was it for
That was it right there?
Yep.
Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. Matthew 13, and now let's read verses 45 through 50.
Verse 45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it.
Okay, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls. All right? He knows what he wants. He has this desire. This is what the kingdom is likened unto. So he has his eye on the prize. He knows what he wants. Verse 46, who when he has found one pearl of great price, went and sold everything that he had and bought it. That means everything else in his life took a back seat to getting his salvation. He kept his eyes on the prize no matter what. This is what I'm going to get right here. And everything else got to step to the side. I'm selling all this other stuff so I can buy that. And I'm going to rebuild my life based on that. Go ahead.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away.
All right. Now, this is also another parable concerning the kingdom. So it gathered everything, good and bad, right? Go ahead.
So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just.
So what happens? The wicked are pulled away from the just. Have you noticed how the gatherings happen each time? Have you noticed what always gets pulled out? There are two gatherings. As Yahweh begins to refine us and remove these impurities, have you become attached to an impurity? Go ahead.
And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
All right. So then when this furnace of fire happens, we know that they're not coming out. Because this ain't for the refine. This is not the refining fire. This is the punishment fire. This is the one where they go in and they stay in. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 18.
$685.
Proverbs 18. And let's start that at verse 1.
Through desire a man, having separated himself, seeks and intermeddleth with all wisdom. A fool has no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. When the wicked comes, then comes also contempt, and with ignominy reproach. The word of a man's mouth are as deep waters, and the wellspring of wisdom as a flowing brook.
Right. Power, death, and life is in the power of the tongue. That is not just in one way, that happens all the way around. So if we walk around speaking erroneous doctrine, guess what we have brought upon ourselves? You have brought the death among you. Through your own words. It's a shame that our hip-hop poets didn't understand that. They spoke about death so much and brought right upon themselves death. Go ahead.
It is not good to accept the person of the wicked, to overthrow the righteous in judgment.
And people do it all the time.
But see, this is my friend. So, I'm going to look at it differently because it's my friend.
Same thing people in families do.
They say, oh, this is wicked.
They say, oh, your son did it.
Oh, well, that's different.
Wait a minute, how's it different because it's your son that did the wickedness?
Because it's my son.
Oh, right. Go ahead.
That also brings to mind sometimes how we need to approach a situation. We got to do the Daweed thing and present it as being someone else. Let the person pass judgment, and then we say, oh, but nah, this one of your people.
Right.
Verse 6, a fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calls for strokes. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. The words of a talebearer are his wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly.
Right. And this telephone is an unruly evil. It always say the tongue is an unruly evil. No, the telephone is an unruly evil. Who can tame it? We send text when we sleep. We set the text.
Send this at 2 p.m. 2 a.m. I'm going to be asleep.
You can just go ahead and you can pre-text. Just let the hell come through at appointed times. Send this text at 2, send this one at 3, and send this one at 5. I want to make sure. Matter of fact, send this text at 6 a.m. I want to make sure I catch them when they waking up. It'll text for you. Go ahead.
He also that is slothful in his works is brother to him that is a great waster. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runs into it and is safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as an high wall in his own conceit. Before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before honor is humility.
Right. Before the destruction, as you begin to talk to some individuals, and you realize that they are not going to do not one thing to change that situation, then you realize how haughty that heart is. But that's before destruction shows up. Go ahead.
He that answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame unto him.
And that's exactly what we do when we think we understand a situation that might have been going on for years, but we got about 2 ounces of information about that, and then we ready to pass judgment like we know what's going on. That situation been going on 5 years. You heard about it for 5 minutes. You don't know what's going on. Go ahead.
The spirit of man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent gets knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gifts makes room for him, and brings him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seems just.
This is why the talebearer wants to go out and tell their version first. He that is first in his cause seems just. That's why they got to pull you aside and try to have the conversation. So now you have been pulled aside by an impurity that wants to get off in your ear. Now you got impurities in your ear. And it seemed just because they told their version first. Understand, the adversary of the devil couldn't wait to get down into Yahweh's garden and tell his story first.
See, before Yahweh talk to you about these trees, I'm going to tell you something. Did he say you really going to die? Because you really not going to die. Let me tell you something.
Who's first? Lucifer. He told his story before Yahweh did. So I don't know why people think that it's some big deal that they can say, well, I found this old book and it was stories in it just like the Bible. Yeah. Who was the first one? Who set up the first families on earth? Was it righteous or the wicked?
Wicked.
So the wicked set up families and overspread first. But you do understand that they knew the story, right? You do understand they knew the story. While the wicked are multiplying and their family is spreading, there's not even a righteous seed on the earth at that point. I think people need to remember that before they let somebody tell you, okay, well, this seems like it was first, so we better listen to this. That's why Lucifer can't wait to run to you. He's got to poison you before you hear what the real deal is. You got to stop letting them impurities get in your ears. Go ahead.
But his neighbor comes and searches him.
His neighbor comes and take care of that business and puts him in his place. Go ahead.
But you know, that's the problem is, once again, like you're talking about with hearing the one side. Do you go and search it?
Right.
Do you go and ask questions?
Mm-hmm.
Because things will go on for years after years. You won't hear it till one person bring up some, oh, you went through that too? Then you got the whole room. Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Pound me too.
Right. Then we got the Me Too movement in the church. Go ahead.
The lot causes contentions to cease and parts between the mighty. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Whoso finds a wife finds a good thing, and obtains favor of Yah.
Yeah, that all depends on what kind of wife he found. Because if he found the wrong one, ooh. Go ahead.
The poor uses entreaties, but the rich answers roughly. A man that has friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother.
Right. And then we have that thing where we have to figure out, are we going to deal with those things that we were raised in? That whole blood is thicker than water thing, which causes us not to execute righteous judgment. Because what we want to do is agree with the family. So then by trying to agree with the family, we then alienate Yahweh's family. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 19. First Samuel chapter 19, and let's read verses 1 through 18.
And Saul spake to Jonathan his son, and to all his servants, that they should kill Dawid. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in Dawid. And Jonathan told Dawid, saying, Saul my father seeks to kill you. Now therefore, I pray you, take heed to yourself until the morning, and abide in a secret place, and hide yourself.
So you have to ask yourself, what do you do when the impurity is in your house? What do you do? What if the impurity is your husband or your wife or your father or your mother? Do you agree with the impurity because it's in your house? Because Yahweh is most definitely holding us accountable. Go ahead.
And I'll go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, and I'll commune with my father of you. And what I see, that will I tell you. And Jonathan spake good of Dawid unto Saul his father, and said unto him, Let not the king sin against his servant, against Dawid, because he has not sinned against you, and because his works have been to you word very good.
None of that means anything to him. You can't give the wicked enough. No matter what you give them, it ain't enough. You gave them a place to stay, you should have gave them a better place to stay. You gave them a place to clean themselves, you should have gave them a better place to clean themselves. Go ahead.
For he did put his life in his hand and slew the Philistine. And Yahweh wrought a great salvation for all Israel. And you saw it and did rejoice.
Yeah, he rejoiced a little bit, but part of it was he wished it was him. See? Go ahead.
Wherefore then will you sin against innocent blood to slay David without a cause?
Right. Poor fella, he don't know his father's an impurity. He think that he can talk the impurity out of being impure. See, that's what we do.
You know, I love that sister. I love that brother. I just want him to make the right choice. Please, impurity, be pure.
Good luck. Go ahead.
And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan. And Saul sware, as Yahweh lives, he shall not be slain. And Jonathan called David, and Jonathan showed him all those things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence as in times past.
Uh-huh.
And there was war again, and David went out and fought with the Philistines, and slew them with a great slaughter, and they fled from him.
Now, pay attention as to when the evil spirit shows up. David has done something good. This is when the evil spirit is going to pop up against you too. All right? Yahweh has wrought some very great thing through you. Look at how the countenance changed. Go ahead.
And the evil spirit from Yahweh was upon Saul, as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand.
Uh-huh.
And Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with the javelin.
You see, that evil spirit done got into him. After David has done something good, now he playing music.
Oh, man. So he was a warrior and a musician and a poet. He got to die.
Right. Go ahead.
But he slipped away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall, and David fled and escaped that night. Saul also sent messengers on to David's house to watch him and to slay him in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, If you save not your life tonight, tomorrow you shall be slain. So Michal let David down through a window, and he went and fled and escaped. And Michal took an image and laid it in the bed, and put a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster, and covered it with a cloth. And when Saul sent messengers to take David, she said, He is sick. And Saul sent the messengers again to see David, saying, Bring him up to me in the bed, that I may slay him. And when the messengers were come in, behold, there was an image in the bed, with a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster. And Saul said unto Michal, Why have you deceived me so, and sent away mine enemy, that he's escaped?
Uh-huh.
And Michal answered Saul, He said unto me, Let me go. Why should I kill you? So David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel to Ramah, and told him all that Saul had done to him. And he and Samuel went and dwelt in Naioth.
All right. So then you kind of feel sorry for Jonathan, because he wants his father to be a better man than what he is. But his father's heart is not like his heart. And it doesn't matter what he's going to do. He could talk him out of attempting to kill David at one point, but sooner or later, that evil spirit going to come right back into him. So he can only talk that evil spirit to go out for a time, but it's coming back. Let's go to Psalms chapter 55.
Give ear to my prayer, O Elohim, and hide not yourself from my supplication. Attend unto me and hear me. I mourn in my complaint and make a noise. Because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked, for they cast lawlessness upon me, and in wrath they hate me. My heart is sore pained within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. Fearfulness and trembling are come upon me, and horror has overwhelmed me. And I said, Oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then would I fly away and be at rest. Lo, then would I wander far off and remain in the wilderness. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. Destroy, O Adonai, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy that reproached me.
It was not an enemy that reproached me, that did this unto me. Go ahead.
Then I could have borne it.
Then I could have dealt with it. Go ahead.
Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me.
Uh-huh.
Then I would have hid myself from him.
Uh-huh.
But it was you,
But it was you.
a man mine equal,
A man mine equal.
my guide, and mine acquaintance.
Mine acquaintance. See, I could have dealt with it if it had been one of my enemies. But this happened unto me for somebody who was supposed to be my friend. Go ahead.
We took sweet counsel together
Uh-huh.
and walked onto the house of Elohim in company.
Right. Do you allow that to keep you from getting that impurity burned off of you? Because y'all went to the house of Elohim and sought sweet counsel together? Why do you think he got that in there? Go ahead.
Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell. For wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. As for me, I will call upon Elohim, and Yahweh shall save me.
Uh-huh.
Evening and morning, and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. He has delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. Elohim shall hear and afflict them,
Uh-huh.
even he that abideth of old.
Even he that calleth himself an elder, Yahweh gonna deal with him too. Go ahead.
Because they have no changes.
They have no changes. Go ahead.
Therefore they fear not Elohim.
That you can tell when people don't fear Elohim by the things that they do. Go ahead.
He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant.
Right. Do you understand that there's a covenant of peace between two individuals who have never met? There's an unspoken covenant of peace. That man ain't did nothing to you. You ain't did nothing to that man. Then y'all get close and you do something. You have broken the covenant of peace. There was an automatic covenant of peace between the two of y'all. What broke the covenant of peace? Why did you break the covenant of peace? What made you go against this individual? What sin had he committed against you? Not what you don't like. What sin had he or she committed against you that now all of a sudden they have become your enemy? You have broken the covenant of peace. But then we'll come and still feel justified. No, you broke the covenant of peace. So you can open your mouth and say the wrong thing and you have broken the covenant of peace. There was automatically a covenant of peace between y'all. Go ahead.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter,
Uh-huh.
but war was in his heart.
Right.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
So do you allow those words to cause you to not allow an impurity to be burned off of you? How they say you have to get rid of leeches?
Burn them off.
You have to do what?
Burn them off.
Burn them off. Yeah. See, that leech will stay attached to you and suck up all your blood. Suck all your substance out of you. You got to let that leech get burned off. Or do you feel sorry for the leech?
I mean, if I remove the leech, whose blood are they gonna suck?
Read, man.
Cast your burden upon Yahweh, and he shall sustain you. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved.
He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But he's making a different gathering for the wicked. See, they must be severed. Go ahead.
But you, O Elohim, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days. But I will trust in you.
But I will trust in you. Let's go to John chapter 13. Yohanan chapter 13. And we're going to read verses 11 through 27.
Verse 11. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore he said, You're not all clean. So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, Know you what I've done unto you?
Right. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore he said, You are not all clean. If Yahshua had to deal with impurities in his small setup, what makes us think we're not going to have to deal with it? Go ahead.
Know you what I've done to you? You call me master and Adonai, and you say, Well, for so I am. If I then, your Adonai and master, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you.
Right. Yeshua has given us examples, but then when it get down to certain situations, we ignore those examples. He's given us examples on how to deal with sin. If your brother sin against you, rebuke him. If he repents, then forgive him. But what? We don't like that instruction when it comes down to certain individuals. So we'll deal with it when it's somebody that we don't like. When it's somebody that's close to us, all of a sudden we gonna deal with that on the curve. Go ahead.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his master, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If you know these things, happy are you if you do them. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He that eats bread with me has lifted up his heel against me.
Right. And when you go back and look at it, almost all of the individuals who have raised up their heel against you was somebody you sat down and ate with. Your enemy can't do you but so much harm. You're going to see him coming. You see him soon as he opened the door across the street. You already ready. Oh, it's about to go down. Why? Because I know that dude hate me. You don't get surprised. It's the one who approached as your friend. You turned your back to them because you trusted them. And then they stabbed you in your back. Go ahead.
Now I tell you before it come, that when it is come to pass, you may believe that I am he. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receives whomsoever I send receives me. And he that receives me receives him that sent me.
Right. So then we will go against Yahweh by going against the people that Yahweh has sent, but still believe that we are in sport. We don't think we've angered Yahweh. Go ahead.
When Yahshua had thus said, he was troubled in spirit and testified and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Then the disciples looked one on another, doubting of whom he spake. Now there was leaning on Yahshua's bosom one of his disciples, whom Yahshua loved. Simeon Peter therefore beckoned to him, that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. He then, lying on Yahshua's breast, says unto him, Adonai, who is it? Yahshua answered, He it is, to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Yehudas Iscariot, the son of Simeon. And after the sop, Satan entered into him. Then said Yahshua unto him, That you doeth, do it quickly.
Right. So the evil spirit then comes upon him at this point. So that is also a situation that we have to deal with. At one point, something is not adversarial unto you. Then an evil spirit enters into it. Now, that impurity is in your midst. Do you just allow everything that has happened with that impurity before to continue to go on and not recognize that a demonic spirit has entered into it? Do you just deal with it because of its past? Well, no, this is my East Boone Coon. No, that's not who you think it is, because another spirit just entered into there. You have to get that spirit out so you can deal with who you used to deal with. Because that ain't who you think you're dealing with. That's that spirit. You got to run that out of there. Go ahead.
Yeah, just had a question here, sort of with a comment. This situation here, they asked the question. He gave the answer, an example of what was going to be to tell who it was.
Mm-hmm.
So is it that they didn't see it or didn't want to accept it?
You have to ask yourself. It most definitely, he was one of the original 12. See, that's what we think. Well, no, man, we started with this person. Ain't no way that he can be evil. Not him. Not him. No, we began with him. Remember when we started this thing, nothing evil there. Remember? You remember? You remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you remember?
Yeah.
Right. The part they ain't paying attention to, this is when the devil goes in. So, but Yahshua always knew who the devil was going to use. Why? The devil going to take the easiest door. So Yahshua, all he got to do is look around. He going to use him. Why? Because that's the easiest door to get into. Look at it. He ain't guarding his spirit at all. That's the one the devil going to use. When you look, when they come and do a security review, they come tell you, oh yeah, they're gonna come in at this lower left window. Why? Because it's the one that's hidden by the bush. See, if you get right here by the bush, you can spend all your time knocking out this window here. And you can crawl, you take your time, crawl in, gather up all the stuff, put it right there by the window, gather, come back out the window, sit it right back behind the bush. Now you are stacking articles and you still have a hiding space. You don't actually see them until they then dart across the yard with 2 TVs in their hand. By that time, it's too late. They done been in there, they done shopped. They done made some microwave popcorn in your house. They done did everything. You ain't seen none of that. By the time you see your TVs going across the backyard, all that has been done. The thief already knew how he was coming in. He looked. He examined. What's the weak point? He's the weak point. That's how I'm getting in. Go ahead, bro.
If you know that you're harboring a negative spirit, how do you let that thing go? And it's been there for a very long time. How do you let that thing go?
Well, see, that's part of the thing that you have to examine. Why are you harboring that negative spirit? A lot of times we want something to go without fully opening it up and dealing with that and putting it on the table. How did it get there? How did it grow? What activates that thing? You got to deal with every part about that. And those are the things that sometimes we're not willing to do. We just want to jump to the over part. See? And see that's how Lucifer come and get to us. Because that's how some people get over it.
Let's just stop talking about it. You know, if stop bringing it up, you know it'll just go away, right? See? I know gangrene is sitting there in my foot, but if I stop looking at it, see?
Yeah, because the same thing gonna happen. You stop looking at it, you ain't gonna see it. Guess what's gonna happen? You keep letting that gangrene go. You ain't gonna see it when you look at it, because they're going to cut it off. That ain't how you deal with it. Just stop looking at it. And that's some people's idea of dealing with something, especially when it happened and it came out of their house.
Just stop talking about it. It'll go away.
Right. Go ahead.
That was the end of that.
That was in, let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. Yeah, brother, it's those things that have been there the longest that cause us the most issues. Because sometimes we get into habits and we will deal with the habit of an altercation without even remembering the source of the altercation. It's like those family brawls, you know, Hatfields, we the McCoys. But then don't none of them really remember like why they hate each other, right? But they constantly fighting. They say, so why you hate him? Because he's a McCoy. Well, why you hate him? He's Hatfield. What's wrong with you? Why you wearing something stupid like that? Okay, why y'all hate each other? Because we just do. They don't know why. This done carried on so long. They have now accepted in their brain, we supposed to have a problem with each other. See, we are supposed to have problems. I don't know why we supposed to have problems with each other. We just supposed to have problems with each other because that's just how it is. All right, that's how T.I. is. We got a problem. And we gonna forever have a problem. But can't nobody explain the problem. See, you got to get right down in there because sometimes there's manipulation and you might have manipulated yourself. See? Go ahead.
Yohanan chapter 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 9. The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government.
They despise government because they despise any rulership. They despise any order. That's why they like the other gathering. The other gathering don't have no rules. You can come to the other gathering however you want. You unclean? Come. You don't want to put on no clothes? Come. You don't want to wear no hair covering? Come on. You know you look so pretty with makeup. Put it on. Come on. Ain't no rules at the other gathering. Come on. Go ahead.
Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They're not afraid to speak evil of dignities.
They are not afraid to speak evil about Yahweh's servants, which shows what kind of individuals they are. But this is Israel we're talking about. Israel watched Moshe divide the water. Still hear negative stuff said about him. And this our people now. Now, if that didn't stop us then, what you think gonna stop us now? Man, we can heal a dead person. You know what gonna happen? They're gonna be talking.
You know what? I think he killed a person in the first place.
But, read, man.
Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before the Adonai.
And we don't care nothing about that. We'll bring railing accusation against anybody. Believe you me, when you see somebody getting dealt with in here, they done it 5-6 times. Believe that. There ain't a person in here to say, you know, I did something one time and something just jumped all over me. Bag that up. Go ahead.
But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption.
And whenever you get to something that Jake don't understand, Jake want to punish you because they don't understand.
I don't understand how they can do that. I mean, if I did that, I would have definitely stole some stuff. So if they around it, they probably stole some stuff because I know I would.
So then they put their weaknesses upon you. Go ahead.
And shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you. Having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls.
Beguiling unstable souls. So then that's a part of the other gathering. You gather with other unstable people, and then a greater instability happens. Go ahead.
And heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children.
Why? Because they're going to learn their ways. So they're already cursed from the beginning. Go ahead.
Which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Besor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his lawlessness. The dumbass, speaking with man's voice, forbade the madness of the prophet.
Kish called that man a dumbass. I heard it come right out of there. Kish said that. He sure did. Need to watch your language. Go ahead.
These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever.
But you know what? How many times we hear that and we think it's referring to something else? This is where it come from.
They be like, dumbass.
That comes from the book. But see, it takes on a mind of its own as people use it, how they going to use it. So they don't understand this was their mode of travel, riding this dumb animal that would decide that it's going to do whatever the hell it want to do whenever it want to do it. All right, you going over that hill. The dumb ass said, no, you know what? I'm going to turn left. No, man, we're going this way. No, we're not. We're going left. You're like, you know what? You're not even as strong as a full-bred horse. You stubborn as all get out. I get a horse, I tell this thing to turn left, it turns. I tell it to turn right, it turns. I tell it to go fast, it go fast. You can't do none of that. Go ahead.
For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Adonai and Savior Yahshua HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
And a sow is a pig, and you cannot wash a pig. All right? The pig, no matter what you do, is going to go and jump right back in the mud because that is how it cools itself off. And if we behave like that, then all we're doing is wasting our time and other people's time. Let's go to Micah chapter 7. Micah chapter 7, and let's read verses 1 through 10.
Woe is me, for I am as when they have gathered the summer fruits, as the grape gleanings of the vintage. There is no cluster to eat. My soul desired the first ripe fruit. The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net, that they may do evil with both hands earnestly. The prince asked, and the judge asked for a reward. And the great man, he utters his mischievous desire, so they wrap it up.
Now see, if there's any righteous in any of this mix, as things began to get discussed, the righteous either stands up or speaks a certain way about that and end up removing themselves. So then you understand why certain people get invited, because they believe that they can persuade you. Somewhere along the path, you have allowed them to believe that you can be persuaded to do the same evil that they are doing. That's why you got the invitation. When, without a shadow of a doubt, they know you can't be persuaded, you won't get any more invitations. It's real easy to find out what your growth is. Are you still getting invited? I remember the day I stopped getting invited, it threw me off. Hell, I'm the man for all seasons. I'm telling man, Steve's up in here. I party. How can somebody have a party and then invite me? Then I realized, oh damn, I done growed it up. They finally didn't invite me. It was a growth level that they knew.
Look, we are going to get off into some debauchery. Please don't invite Esaac.
That threw me. But they realized we done invited him to several of these things. All he gonna do is speak Yahweh's law every time he get here. and he gonna make us feel bad about what we about to do. Then your name drop off the list. So your name is on that list because you ain't stood up. Your name is on that list because you ain't hurt nobody's feelings. When you stand up, stand on the word of Yahweh and start rebuking some situations, you'll stop getting invited. Go ahead, brother.
The best of them is as a briar. The most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of your watchman and your visitation comes. Now shall be their perplexity. Trust you not in a friend. Put you not confidence in a guide.
Right, see? But see, these are the impurities that Yahweh trying to burn off of us. But we still putting our trust in the very impurity that's supposed to be burned off. Go ahead.
Keep the doors of your mouth from her that lies in your bosom.
Oh, we can't do that. We love that pillow talk. Go ahead.
For the son dishonors the father. The daughter rise up against her mother. The daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. Therefore I will look unto Yahweh. I will wait for the Elohim of my salvation. My El will hear me. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall rise.
When I fall. So, he ain't saying, I know I ain't going to do everything right. But when I fall, my God going to come get me. Go ahead.
When I sit in darkness, Yahweh shall be a light unto me. I will bear the indignation of Yahweh, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me.
There you go. See, the whole part about being righteous is not that we're going to be perfect, that we ain't never going to fall, that we ain't never going to sin. That's not realistic. But what do you do when you slip? What do you do when you fall? What do you do when somebody brings something to you that you need to correct? That's where your righteousness lies. Not in that you ain't never done nothing. Go ahead.
He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it.
Then she that is my enemy. Now that's interesting right there. See? Because if she your enemy, he your enemy, because she directing him. Read.
And shame shall cover her which said unto me, Where is Yahweh your Elohim? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets.
All right. Let's go to Genesis chapter 11. You know, the one thing that we never tell anybody about who they could be around and, you know, where they ought to do certain things. But what we can tell you, that if you're in the wrong circle, you are damaging yourself and your household. Because sooner or later, Yahweh is going to cut off how he's dealing with you. Because why give you blessings if it's going to bless the wicked with whom you abode? Genesis chapter 11, and let's read verses 27 to 32.
Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran begot Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees.
Right, so at this point, Terah is the one that's in charge. All right? He's the patriarch of this family. Go ahead.
To go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there.
Right, so Yahweh is going to deal with Abram about this land of Canaan. But his dad worshiped idols. His dad off into some other stuff. Go ahead.
And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran.
All right. Terah died. Now keep going.
Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, Get you out of your country and from your kindred and from your father's house onto a land that I will show you.
So the whole part of his receiving this blessing, and sometimes this is difficult for us to look at it in this matter. In this situation, the impurity was Abram's father. Yahweh not dealing with him until there's a separation between him and his daddy. He don't worship like his son worship. So now Yahweh is going into a different level of things with Abram. Go ahead.
And I'll make of you a great nation, and I'll bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing.
All these things are directly pointed at him. I will make of you. I will bless you. And I will make your name great. And you shall be a blessing. Not they. And them. And your family. Go ahead.
And I'll bless them that bless you, and curse him that curses you. And in you shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Right. And if somebody has that blessing on them, and you decide to attempt to curse them, do you realize that you just cursed yourself? Go ahead.
So Abram departed, as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran.
Right. Abram has departed, but Abram brought along someone else. Go ahead.
And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came.
All right, so this is where Yahweh want Abram. Go ahead.
And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sychem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And Yahweh appeared unto Abram and said, Unto your seed will I give this land. And there built he an altar unto Yahweh, who appeared unto him.
Now understand, you have Lot who is around watching all of these things. So when you talk about likeness of culture and things of that nature, you have other individuals that are in the presence of things that are happening. Now Yahweh not dealing with Lot like that, but Lot is watching how Abram deals. Go ahead.
And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar unto Yahweh, and called upon the name of Yahweh. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south.
All right, let's jump to chapter 13 and start that at verse 1.
And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold.
So this begins the process of how Yahweh is going to get Abram by himself. See, he has attached himself to somewhat of an impurity. Why is that? Because Yahweh not dealing with that other individual, but he has latched on to that other individual. Go ahead.
And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been in the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first, and there Abram called on the name of Yah. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together.
And that is a awesome part of a separation, that you just so rich that we got to separate. I mean, we got so much money, and we keep getting our money confused. That is an awesome separation. I'm going to tell you something. There's not many times that's the way Yahweh going to separate you. He's not going to just make you so rich that you have to separate from something. No, believe you me, he going to cause separation between who he want to cause separation with. And it ain't going to be that you just got so rich. This is the most awesome separation method I have ever seen. I would hope that he would separate me like that. You know, son, I want you to move. I'm just give you so much money. Okay. And if you would like to do that, Yahweh, please. Go ahead.
And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle.
There you go. See now, you see what happened? The strife is what causes the separation. See? But see, this separation is unto sanctification. I need you by yourself. Because you keep bringing this boy with you. You keep bringing this other individual with you, and I'm trying to deal with you. Go ahead.
And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelt then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray you, between me and you, and between your herdmen and your herdmen. For
between my herdmen and your herdmen. Go ahead.
And between my herdmen and your herdmen. For we be brethren.
Right, because if they keep going at it, we gonna go at it. Go ahead.
Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself, I pray you, from me. If you will take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if you depart to the right hand, then I'll go to the left.
All right, 2 gatherings. We got one gathering this way. We got another gathering that way. Go ahead.
And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before Yahweh destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of Yahweh, like the land of Egypt, as you cometh unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other.
Right. So he looked and saw the best looking land. The spirit of it wasn't right, but it looked good. Go ahead.
Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before Yahweh exceedingly. And Yahweh said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him.
You see how he went out of his way to make that point? And Yahweh said unto Abram, you know, after Lot has separated from him. See, now he's got this impurity off of him. I ain't making no covenant with him. You don't have to separate from him if you want to deal deeper with me. And we have attached ourselves to these impurities and believing that somehow we're going to continue to prosper. No, you're going to be stagnant. You're going to stay where you at. You ain't growing. Because he not dealing with them like that. So if you begin to see that your growth ain't equal unto everybody else's, please look around and pay attention and observe why. You have attached yourself to the wrong thing. Go ahead.
Lift up now your eyes, and look from the place where you are northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, to you will I give it, and to your seed forever. And I'll make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall your seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto you.
I will give this unto you. But I ain't giving it to your nephew. Go ahead.
You know, even with this being said, what kind of indignation would that have put into Lot to hear this?
Right. Right. Yahweh's like, I'm trying to grow in how I deal with you. But you're going to have to let this impurity, you're going to have to let me take this impurity away. Because it ain't going to do nothing but cause a problem with this covenant. Go ahead.
Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto Yahweh.
All right, let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Yohanan chapter 15. Yohanan chapter 15. And we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he takes away.
Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he takes it away. It is an impurity. Why are you here? You are not profitable. Why are you here? What did he do unto the fig tree that didn't produce fruit? You taking up space. You need to leave. Go ahead.
And every branch that bears fruit, he purges it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
Okay, wait a minute. Every branch that does not, that beareth not fruit is taken away. But every branch that does bear fruit, he purges it so that it will make more fruit. Go ahead.
Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
Right. Now you got to watch, because this is where people come at you.
See, I don't need no baptism, because see, I'm cleansed through the word.
Yeah, but were you reborn through the word? Because he said, except you be born again. You see how they'll take the subject and flip the subject? The subject was not about being cleansed. The subject was about being born again. But if you listen to the wrong individuals, they're going to tell you that the word cleanses you. See? Stick with the subject matter. We're talking about born again. Go ahead.
Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine.
But you find people, while they're supposed to be doing Yahweh's work, they're doing their own work. They're trying to abide in themselves and come up with their own fruit, not Yahweh's fruit. Go ahead.
No more can you, except you abide in me. I am the vine, you're the branches. He that abides in me, and I in him, the same bring forth much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burnt.
All right. In other words, they make another gathering. If they don't abide and they don't do the works, see, people think that this is my doctrine. They think that this is something that Esaac has come up with. That's because they're not reading their book. While professing themselves to be teachers, they're not reading their book. These are not my words. Go ahead.
If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit, so shall you be my disciples. As the Father have loved me, so have I loved you. Continue you in my love.
As the Father have loved me, so have I loved you. Go ahead.
If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love.
Right. Real simple. Because everybody walks around talking this love thing. They talk love, love, love. We can break this down real easy. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandment and abide in his love. So you can talk that love talk all you want. You ain't walking in these commandments, you don't love nobody, you don't love yourself. So you let these people talk that fake love to you if you want to. And what you gonna let them do is talk you out of being refined. You're gonna allow them to talk to you, and you're gonna let that impurity stay upon you. And it will affect how your God deals with you. That's all that we're gonna do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.